Like, you feel better than everybody behind you, don't you? You could be in the second to last row. This one guy behind you, like, what an idiot back there. Embarrassing, loser. Last row. I was on a plane the other day. I hated the guy behind me. He kept yawning out loud the whole flight. The whole flight, he's like, for like 5 hours. First of all, you don't need to make a noise when you yawn. That's a decision. He's deciding to do that. It's like if you were hungry on a plane, you were like, I'm hungry! Well, you all right? Yeah, I'm hungry. I like to let people know when I'm hungry. I think it's important for people to know that. People yawn out loud, they want attention. That's why they're doing it. They want you to be like, oh my God, are you tired? And they're like, I am. Here's my entire life story of how I came to be tired. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. Plus, isn't it fun to not ask somebody a question when they really want you to ask them a question? You ever do that when someone's like, I had a wild night last night, and then you're like, neat, and then you just walk away? That's like one of my favorite things to do. Just tell me your story. Don't make me ask for it.
That is a fun thing to do, isn't it?
It really is. Boy, that's a pretty good bit.
How do you like that? That was Joe List. This is Joe List. And I always I like to set the audience up sometimes by playing a clip and then start to talk to whoever we have. But it's always fun to see if a person hates hearing it.
Yes.
And you made a face.
I do. I hated you. You blindsided me. I almost got in a fist fight. I almost got in a fist fight one time and went on the way to my best friend's wedding. We were in the car with one of his other, whatever you call it, bridesmaids. What's the opposite of bridesmaids?
Groomsmen.
Yeah. With a
Maybe he had bridesmaids. I don't know.
No, this was years ago. But it was a groomsman, and he put my CD in, my first CD, which is atrocious. It's really exceptionally bad.
What was it called?
It's called, well, I don't know. You're trying to trick me.
I'm not.
You're trying to trick me and find it. It's called So Far No Good.
Okay, gotcha.
And he was playing it, and it was just horrible. And I was like, I was really using a lot of obscenities.
Uh-huh.
And it was awkward because his date was in the car, and I had just met her, so I had to show this really ugly side of me.
But was he showing off? Was he proud? What was it?
I think he was trying to show up and be like, hey, this is fun. I don't think he was aware of how horrible it is to listen to yourself talk in a car.
Especially if you're a comedian and there are different markers and signposts in your career.
Yes.
Because you'll get to a point way down the road where you go, this is pretty good. I like this.
Yeah.
People give comics and bands a hard time because everything that comes out, they go, this is the best work I've ever done.
Right.
And they go, yeah, you said that about the last one. They go, yeah, because then that was the best work I'd ever done. That's usually the way things progress.
There was a great Paul McCartney interview that maybe I didn't even hear. Somebody told me about it. I can't remember anymore, but where they were like, is this your best record you've ever, are you doing the best work? And he was like, no, I was in the Beatles. He was like, no, this isn't my best.
No, it was all downhill after 1980. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, yeah, but my first album stinks. But I think that's actually a clever marketing. I just go, you got to hear how bad my first CD is, and then maybe people will buy it.
Yeah.
But then they'll find out that it is actually bad.
But you got their money, so who cares?
Yeah. Exactly.
You haven't been here since December of 2019.
I haven't done a full weekend. I did do a one-nighter here last
in
December.
this room with us.
With you guys.
On this show,
yes.
since December 2019.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
But I remember at the time, the reason it stands out for me is at the time, you had said that you had just started to learn the mandolin.
Yeah.
And I wonder how...
That's so deflated.
Well, because here's my question. Because December of 2019, I think under normal circumstances, anybody would say, yeah, I did it for about a month and then I put it down.
Right.
But we went right into COVID. Yeah. And so I wondered if maybe you stayed with it only because it was a pandemic hobby.
No, I
became one.
I'm realizing only at the age of 40 that I have really horrible, I think ADD. I always think of ADD as I can't pay attention to you while you're talking.
Yes.
But I'm able to listen in a conversation. It's just my brain. I get excited about something and I move on to something else. I took mandolin for a year, and then I might be the first person ever to switch from mandolin to MMA. I started doing MMA. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as there's an M, he's in.
And they were down the street from each other, actually. It was the same commute to get there.
Yeah.
And then I've since stopped doing MMA also. But yeah, I was into mandolin for a while. And then this is why I stopped, because I was having one-on-one lessons with a woman named Conchetta, who was lovely and wonderful. but it was just the small talk before. It was a full hour of.
Now, to be clear, this was the mandolin, not the MMA.
This is the mandolin.
Yeah, right,
Yeah. No,
Conchetta, you're the best trainer I've ever had. You just talk too much.
I'm uncomfortable with you. It was just one of those things where you're like, I gotta go, and you gotta go. Hey, how are you? It's great. Okay. And I should have kept doing it on YouTube or whatever, but
right.
I moved off. But I can still play. I took enough lessons that I can play a little bit.
With putting down the mandolin at the time, you go, not into this anymore. And you find MMA. But that involves you getting your ass kicked on a regular basis. So I could see why you'd go eventually, this might not be for me. Unless I'm going to do this for a career. That seems a much bigger than to just give it the title of a hobby.
Yeah.
It's a commitment.
It was a commitment, and I loved it. And I got valuable lessons from it, and I enjoy. And I feel I have a little bit more knowledge of how to defend myself.
Sure.
And
it's useful information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wasn't enjoying it very much, but when I turned 40 and you're just like, I'm achy anyways.
Yeah.
Like running makes me hurt.
How long ago did you stop doing it? Like recently or like a while ago you stopped?
I'll still like draw. It's just been a few months, but I'd like to go again and dabble. But it's been a while now. It's COVID actually. Because I went and did one-on-one with a trainer, the gym closed during COVID, so that really derailed me.
Right,
honestly.
Did Rogan get you on board? Did you have conversations with him, and he goes, "Hey, try it"?
No.
I mean, I would think that he's kind of trying to be an acolyte for that whole thing.
No, it was before I ever met Joe. I just always I was always fascinated by it and always felt like a big wuss. And it just seemed like that would be something fun to try. And I was doing it more because I have anxiety and stress and everything. I was like, I'll learn how to fight. That would be something.
I forget how tall you are.
I'm a tall guy.
And Rogan is not.
No.
So it's like, just the height that you would have, I would think that it would just be a matter of getting some moves down and you'd have a pretty good path.
I could beat the hell out of Joe if that's what you're getting at here.
Just arms, wingspan alone.
Just slapping him from a distance.
You hold him by the head, swinging at you.
Mary's not much shorter than him. Let's see.
I mean, with these shoes on, I'm about 5'5". So
All right, let's
go at him. Let's scrap.
Did you grow up getting your ass? I grew up getting my ass kicked. So I mean, were you, because I was short for a long time, and then I got a little bit taller, but I didn't get any bigger.
I never really got my ass kicked. I mean, I was actually, believe it or not, a pretty cool guy. Like as far as like middle school, I got in one fight, and my mother made me go live with my aunt and uncle in Bel Air.
Interesting.
So there were some guys in your neighborhood that were up to no good.
Yeah. It was a trouble, and they spun me over their head. No, I got in literally one fight.
That's how people actually fought.
That would be great.
Getting spun over someone else's head.
And now you're dizzy, bitch.
No, I got one fight. It was like it was one of these things where it was my best friend, and it was like one of those I could beat you up. And it might have even been 5th grade. And then we fought, and he had an older brother, so he knew how to fight, and he just did like a right hook right into my temple.
Yeah.
And it made like my eyes well up, and I was like, oh. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. So I managed, anyways, long story short story long, really. I managed to avoid fights by being funny and a fun guy, I think. But,
talk your way out of it, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. But I was always nervous about getting beat up. I'm still nervous because I've had a couple run-ins with homeless people in cities.
You're from Boston.
Yeah.
That's your area you grew up. It's funny because I Conan is quick to say that like everybody thinks that everybody from Boston knows how to fight.
Yes.
And he goes, and a lot of people don't know how to fight. He's like, for instance, me. I think he might have been talking to Matt Damon, and they were both like, I didn't know how to fight. You would actively avoid. He's like, some people really do. But he goes, but there's this notion that everybody there knows what they're doing, and he goes, and that's obviously not the case.
Yeah, no, I always say this, like when I grew up in Massachusetts, the only 2 things that were valued were being tough or funny.
Yeah.
Everybody had to be one or the other.
Right.
And I went funny.
You looked in the mirror and you're like, I can't do anything with this right now, but maybe I will closer to 40.
I'm not tough, and I'm not built for fighting. Even when I did MMA and I trained a lot and it was fun, but like I would react. He would throw a jab and I would react with my whole body. and literally one time we sparred every time, and one time this is a black belt MMA cage fighter guy. And one time he threw a punch and I countered and I caught him right in the face. And I immediately was like, oh, sorry. And he was like, you got to not do that.
He's like, I get hit all the time.
Yeah, it was. So I don't have the instinct.
Let me stop here about 30 seconds. I got to give away some money, and we'll get back to you. Joe List is right around the corner this weekend, right here on 4th Street. He's doing hilarities. You can go to pickwickandfrolic.com for all the details. It's $1,000 right here for you to win. So I hope you do. Good luck. Go fund yourself. Listen closely, and good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword BONUS at WMMS.com. That's BONUS. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
So how did it sounds like a stupid question, but I'm just always curious, kind of the idiosyncrasies. How did the pandemic lay out for you? Some people were doing drive-ins. Some people sat in their house. I'm talking comics.
Yeah, I did. I started doing...
Sam was doing roofs.
A little bit of stuff. I believe the first show in New York City was a diner parking lot that I was on. And it was like on the back of a pickup truck. They just like pulled the gate to the bed down and we stood on there. And it wasn't great. And then at the beginning, no one knew what we were doing. So they were like, the host was like, honk your horn if you like it. That's applause. And we immediately were like, that was a horrible idea.
Oh,
It was just
terrible.
like,
Hannibal came through to do a drive-in movie theater here, and it was just and he's great, but it was just,
There's a train going by every 15 minutes.
Yeah, that too. But it also drives home something that you forget, which is a comedy club is a very specific thing.
Yeah.
And you can have your skills and you can have a great set, but you put you in a drive-in movie theater and it's completely different because people are honking or they're not paying attention or they're sitting in the back drinking a beer or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't good and it wasn't fun. I mean, it was exciting at the time, but I did a lot of Zoom stuff, and then podcasting sustained a lot of us.
Yeah.
So that was fun, and I did quite a few Zoom gigs actually, and then I hosted the Zoom roast thing, which
That's how we met.
Yeah, yeah. And that was something that was like a weekly gig for a little bit. I mean, part of me enjoyed it because you didn't have to. I know it's like cliche now. You didn't have to shower or put pants on.
No, you have to do anything.
Yeah, and then you end the show and you literally just fold the computer and you're like, that was great. That was no commute or
Yeah,
whatever.
I like, did a corporate on Zoom that I'm like, this is the best corporate I've ever done because I'm home right now.
Yes.
And like it's still as bad as any other corporate, but I'm sitting in my office. So I'll take this.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And it took the pressure away because you can't.
You don't
It's
gotta
like
show
the
up
thing, if-
early.
if-
You don't have to do the small talk early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if everything's a bomb, then there is no bomb.
Yeah.
Like, you're not
Right.
really bombing because that's all there is to do.
And no one's going to hold it against you.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's like, well, that was something. So that part was
killed
kind
an
of
hour.
fun. Yeah, exactly. But so I did, and then I started doing a couple gigs here and there. I really tried to adhere to all the business. I
Well,
was
because
like,
it kind of seemed there were some comics who were like adamant about not doing Zoom at the beginning. Because
Right.
obviously nobody knew how long. We were all like, oh, this will be a month and then we'll be back to life or whatever.
Yes.
But it seems like if you kind of bit the bullet and did the Zoom thing from the jump, you might have been a little happier than the people who eventually came around to, okay, I guess I'll do Zoom now
Yeah.
because this is going on longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and some Zooms were better than others. God, I haven't thought about it in a while. It's like taking me back. You're like, oh, God. But for a while, I had been on the road so hard leading up to it. I think I did 16 weeks in a row at the end of 2016. Or 2019, excuse me.
Yeah.
And there was a moment, I was like, kind of like, this is great. Because right before it happened, I was about to go to Australia, LA, Houston, and Boston all in one trip. I was going to be like a 6-week trip.
Right.
And I was dreading it. So part of me was like, great.
The one thing I got to do is Nicole Schreiber and I did Ian Baggs' show.
That was really fun.
It was so fun. I'm like, oh my God, I could do this for another hour or,
Yeah.
but these guys were doing this kind of stuff all the time. But it was, if you got into it, it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I got through it. It was okay.
But now you're back out
Yeah.
and happy to
Happy
be
to
doing
be
it.
back out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you married?
I am, yes. Look
How's
at
the
that.
wife? Hey, look at that.
Yeah,
He's
we
got the
really did
ring
it.
and everything. He's
Yeah.
booed up, ladies.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, ladies.
Sorry.
I'm one of those guys that's like, there's guys obviously that are married and they still have sex with women, and people are like, is it hard out there on the road? And I'm like, I don't have a face or personality where women are like, I bet I could still have sex with
I
them.
see. Like
Women are like
touring
this.
guys, yeah.
Oh,
Name names, Joe.
somebody,
Let's go viral.
somebody, this man's having sex. That's adorable.
That's so sweet.
yeah.
Someone loves you,
Yeah,
huh?
just every once in a while, I'd love a woman to slip into the DMs and be like, I don't care about your wife.
Yeah.
Zilch.
That's a great opening
Zero.
line.
I'll show you things you've never
I
seen
do
before.
not care.
Never. They're all like this. That's great.
They do the quiet glance at your ring finger
Yeah.
to see if there's something on it.
Yeah, they're just like, that's fantastic. But yeah, we're married. She's at home. She's great. Last time she was here with me, she's a comedian as well.
Who's your wife?
Roseanne Barr. Do you know?
Oh, of course. You mean Roseanne Arnold, I believe, might have been the
It's
last.
Roseanne List now.
So you're neck deep in macadamias, is what you're trying to say. Congratulations.
We're having a great time. Her name's Sarah Talamash.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Oh, yeah, of
She's
course.
been here. Yeah,
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
I think she
I had a
headlined
brain fart.
Wednesday or Thursday or one of those days. We came together.
She's great too.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
And she left a really nice vintage jacket that she bought here at the hotel back in 2019. And I was almost going to ask them, but then I felt stupid because it's been 3
Hey, do
3
you guys
years.
have like a COVID lost and found? Because we were just here just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And, boy, we'd love to have that jacket back.
But yeah, I like being married.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, good for you. Well,
And
because
you're married to a very funny person.
Yeah, that helps.
That
Yeah.
helps. But it also, when that thing is removed, and you can joke about it, nobody hits me up. But when that thing is removed from your life, it's just one less thing you got to worry about.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
You're like, it's not even on my radar.
No, I have a friend, people will just figure this one out, but I have a friend who got married, and he was like, how do you do it? What's the trick? And I'm like, well, I never was getting laid a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't one of those guys.
Yeah.
That was like,
I'm now
every
having
night,
regular
woo!
sex.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Right.
it's not, it wasn't, I'm not giving up all that
Rogan
much.
again.
Yeah.
Did you have to work hard to get her?
No. We always tell the story. She was a comic. We knew each other as comics, and then she lived 2 blocks from me.
Yep.
And we were friends, and then
Proximity
it
is
kind of
everything,
up.
isn't it?
It was nice,
It's
and then it
everything.
synced up that we were both single at the same time.
Yep.
And so you kind of went, well, we're friends. We could hook up, and then, we were together, and it was not. I'm not saying it was horrible, but it was kind of regular, whatever. It was good, but then it was like, we can't break up. You're 2 blocks away. We have the same train station, same
It's gonna be
stop.
awkward.
So
We're
we
gonna
just
run
like,
into
we
each
love
other.
Live together.
Yeah,
or,
exactly. And then, but yeah, so then we were together for a long time, and now it's great. But yeah, it wasn't like a hot pursuit. It was friends and just going, all right.
You weren't doing the meet cute at the coffee shop every other day, like, oh, Sarah, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Nothing.
Almond latte?
Hey, it's me, Joe.
Well,
Yeah.
we have no story, and this is one of the things. I get caught. I'm a romantic guy, so I got caught up. My previous girlfriend, which is 15 years ago now, 16. I was doing a show at Caroline's, and I was bombing, and she was laughing in the back. And I said, I don't know who's laughing back there, but I'm in love with you. So I told her I was in love with her before I ever met her. So I felt like this is the one. That's a great story. And I really clung to this bitch for so long because of this story.
You got to cling to a bitch.
Yeah. And then looking back, you're like, that relationship was horrible. And then my wife, I had no story. I was like, she remembers meeting me. I don't remember meeting her. So you're like, well, this can't be the one.
Yeah.
But
We'll make our stories down the road, honey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our story stinks, and that's love.
And
really.
that's our story.
Yeah.
Joe List is at Hilarities all weekend long. You can pick wickedfrolic.com. By the way, I got to let you go here. 4th of July.
Yes.
Did a lot of people see it? Because it's really, really good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And not a lot of people.
Okay.
It depends on, like more than the basketball arena worth of people saw it.
Right.
But we lost, I didn't lose any money. The financer lost $1 million. But
Well, sometimes that's a cost of doing business.
yeah, I made money.
That's good.
Yeah, I
Thanks
got
to the
paid,
thanks to the
so-
union. It's fantastic.
Bobby was here a few months ago, and he was talking about that a little bit, and just like the experience and how good both of you guys were, and like the chemistry you guys had
Oh, thank
acting
you.
together.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think 60,000 people maybe or
Find
something
it
like that.
and stream it if you like, because DePaulo's in it,
Yeah.
and Louie and you and Bobby and all this.
Bobby Kelly, and
Yeah.
Sarah plays my wife
Yeah.
in it, and it's
Typecasting.
It's really fun.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah, we did.
Nepo
We did,
wifing.
we did a casting couch situation. I really took advantage of her to get her the part.
There you go.
We're gonna have a talk about this. So go see Joe List this weekend. And what's the website online? It's just Comedian Joe List.
Comedian Joe List, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Saturday might be sold out. Somebody said Saturday sold out.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah?
if that's true or
Nice.
not.
All right,
They
well,
could be completely wrong, and they don't know how to use a website, though.
hit up Hilarities and find out.
Yeah.
Ask him. Well, it's good to see you, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
I
for coming
appreciate
in.
it.
Yeah, we'll see you next
always
time.
a pleasure.
Let me take a break here. You want to text for anything, 35192 to do that, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS. Rover's Morning Glory.
We did an underwear game where everyone swapped underwear. Jeffrey, did you put yours back on?
No,